Just this evening, before recording this episode, I went on a walk with my family. We made it about 3, maybe 4 houses down the street, and my toddler stopped because he knew that he needed something from home. He said something about a sprinkler, turned around, and just started walking back. And for context, Oliver's 2.5, almost 3 years old. My wife and I stop. We've got Isaac in the stroller, and we're watching Oliver walk down to the house. And neither of us start following him because we're pretty sure he's going to get uncomfortable once he gets far enough away from us and realizes that we're not going to follow him. But he kept going. He walked past house number 1. He walked past house number 2. He walked past the sprinkler he was really interested in. He walked all the way up our driveway and stood by the garage door. He proved me wrong. He proved that he had the freedom to simply walk all the way back home if he chose to. Well, I expected him to have this internal pressure, this internal restriction that would not permit him that much freedom to walk away. What he wanted was a little banana stroller from the garage so that he could push it while we push his baby brother in the larger stroller. And as we got back on track with our walk, he stopped with his little stroller and started doing circles like little donuts for no apparent reason. Amanda and I like to joke that it's that darn free will that he's got going. Really, he's come up with some of the most original ideas lately. Just a couple weekends ago, he came down the stairs from his nap, and I said, "Oliver, what do you want to do today?" And he goes, "I'd like to go to Home Depot and pick out a water feature." As a parent, I find his exercise of free will and originality to be downright entertaining and a little inspiring. You see, what Oliver is experiencing right now is an ever-increasing degree of freedom. He's able to do more and more, and he's able to exercise his free will with increasing effectiveness. I'm pretty sure from my understanding, his job right now is to run headlong into boundaries to see what's going to stick and where he has freedom in order to continue growing into the bigger world, in order to continue growing up. I don't know about you, but somewhere along the line while I was growing up, I started to feel like the actions I could take were being more and more blocked in by varying parameters. My degrees of freedom, if you will, felt like they were being increasingly constrained as I grew up until I hit college. And more than that, when I moved out for my first internship in Omaha. For that internship, I vividly remember going to the grocery store for the first time. It was the very first moment that I had taken myself to go grocery shopping on my own. I was pretty calm for most of this first shopping trip, and I was sticking to my shopping list until I hit the cereal aisle. I had put cereal plainly on my shopping list. I was going to get what was on sale. And I remember looking up and down the aisle and saying I could get anything here. I could buy the cereal I wasn't allowed to have growing up, or the sugary cereal where my mom said it needed to be someone's birthday, we needed to have a coupon, and it needed to be on sale in order to justify buying it. And I was overwhelmed with this wash of newfound freedom. I could genuinely buy anything in the aisle, and there was no reason why I couldn't. I did end up buying the single cheapest healthy cereal that was there, but that's beside the point. And I know some of you can relate to this sort of feeling because there was a comedian, I can't remember who did a bit once about becoming an adult and saying that the process of becoming an adult is going to the grocery store and realizing that without any special occasion, you could simply buy a birthday cake, take it home, and eat it for dinner. And no one was going to stop you.
So I grabbed one of these tiny cakes that somebody brought me, one of those little tiny ones that has the plastic cover and the sticker on the side, and I handed it to him. I go, "Here."
Meanwhile, growing into a mature adult is realizing why that's a bad idea, even if you had to do it the hard way.
"Hey, are you okay?" "My stomach." "Your stomach? Too much cake?" "Yeah."
All right, Jay, free will, degrees of freedom. What does this have to do with paying my mortgage off? We're going to get there soon, but first, I want to formally define what I mean when I say degrees of freedom. And I'm going to try to do this in a little bit more of a technical sense. If you want a more entertaining and emotional processing of degrees of freedom, I recommend that you play the Stanley Parable video game.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
I'm going to define degrees of freedom like this. I want you to think about a hypothetical monorail that can't go backwards, can only go forwards on its track. It has 1 degree of freedom. It can choose to go forward, and it can choose not to go forward. That is its parameter. That is its degree of freedom. Now compare this to a racing drone. A racing drone can go forward, backward, left, right, up, down, It's able to twist, it's able to rotate side to side, and it's able to roll forward and backward. When it's exercising every degree of freedom, it seems to move in any way that it wants. Formally, if we talk about the three axes of translation and rotation, the drone has 6 degrees of freedom, but we can agree that the drone is significantly more free than the monorail that can simply go forward on its track. The drone is more free. And what is our goal when it comes to getting to the end of the hope-filled financial footsteps? For many of us, for me, it's achieving genuine financial freedom, a degree of financial freedom to the point where I can say I have financial independence. If you're at hope-filled financial footstep number 7, you have already experienced an increase in your financial freedom, in your degrees of freedom, because debt is a huge constraint on your degrees of freedom. When we have debt or choose to keep debt around, we are promising our dollars away in the future. We are removing the freedom for those dollars to do whatever else that we would want them to do. When we have a budget, we are exercising our intentionality with our money so that we have the freedom to genuinely assign our discretionary income to our true wants. And at this point, we've already been exercising a plan for our retirement future. So there's a peace and a contentment with that being situated. But what else can we do to improve our degrees of financial freedom? And the answer to that question is inside the main topic.